Gina, honey, what are you talking about? Exactly what I said. Do you have what you need to survive a disaster? Say if the grid would go down from solar flares, because it would be a Carrington event. We've already done it. We could have some type of an attack that happens on the earth. You could have like an alien invasion. You could have a natural disaster that occurs where we're put in a lockdown, you all. Another one, but this time it's different. This time it's different because it's like a national emergency. Let me get this out of there. Do you have what it takes? Actually, do you have what it takes truly on the inside to survive whatever is coming your way? Do you? It starts on the inside, but it's going to require a whole lot more too. You are. Do you have the tools you need, more or less, the supplies, the right type of clothing, the right type of shoes? Because your world could change. It's like that, just like that, with no warning. It's like in a split second. It's like an earthquake. With a storm, you know that if it's a bad storm coming your way or a tornado, at least you have a little bit of warning ahead of time. You see the rain falling, you feel the wind pick up, you hear on the news or something, there's tornadoes coming. That you can really see. But you can't see the other things that are happening. I mean, even if an earthquake, you can see like there's little tremors. But when an earthquake comes, I don't think you're going to get that big of a warning. I don't. You're going to feel the earth shake, just like the people in the buildings when they're inside the stores. The cameras are showing them. They're caught off guard. The items are falling over. The shelves are falling over on the people. The ceiling, the buildings are collapsing. That's no time. It's no time to prepare. So you can't prepare for that right there. Or if you're out in your car, just say you just out in your car, you have I don't know, your car runs out of gas, you better be prepared for that. That's simple. You better have like some way to get gas. You better have some good walking shoes. But really, if the lights went out and they didn't come back on, the electricity, could you make it? Could you really make it? Would you have the supplies? Would you have the candles, the lighter, the food, the shelf-stable food? Because your refrigerator ain't going to work no more. It's not. Especially if the electricity goes out. You're not going to see it. Your food's going to go bad. Are you prepared to deal with that? Do you have a can opener to open up your canned goods? If all you use is an electric can opener and the electricity goes out and you can't open up your canned goods that you have stocked on your shelf because you didn't think of having a manual can opener, or a means to heat your food up, do you have extra water? Do you? Do you have candles? Do you have flashlight? Do you have a first aid kit? Because your world could change in an instant. You could find yourself walking with only the clothes on your back and maybe a backpack, whatever you could fit in that backpack. These bug-out bags are designed to, you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If they evacuate from your house, you want to be able to grab it. That's what they say. Grab it, have it in a location, and get. It's like a tsunami. You don't have much. I seen somebody had a comment on here, if a tsunami was coming, you don't have very much time to get to higher grounds before that tsunami gets you. You don't. And those who fail to listen, they get washed away. They get washed away with all the debris, all the muddy water, just like that. Hello, everyone, if you're just tuning in. Hello, Susan Donahue. It's a beautiful day. That's wonderful. Water purification. Yes, a local source. You don't want to lose electrolytes. You want to have some type, get on the computer, you all. Get on the computer or your cell phone. Look up how to make your own electrolyte drink. Okay, do that. Find out what you need to make it. and get those supplies on hand. You don't have to always drink Gatorade. You can use baking soda, salt, and you got lemon juice, you got some sugar. Look for a recipe that you could keep on hand so you can use what you got, and it's not going to be that hard to make something to keep the electrolytes inside your body to keep you from dehydrating and stuff. Hello. Medicine, yeah, it's good to have medicine, especially if you got a headache and you ain't got no Tylenol, you ain't got no ibuprofen, you don't have nothing, no Aleve or whatever it is you take. There are people who, they don't have nothing in their house, nothing. They might have like a pack of, you know, samples of pills or something, but no, they don't really have anything. Yeah, nothing at all. They don't even have a first aid kit. They don't even have a Band-Aid. Please get yourself some Band-Aids, you all. Get some Band-Aids, get something for a headache, because when times get stressful, you're going to get yourself a stress headache. If you've never had any headache before, when times get really stressful, you just might get one of those headaches. And or you just might have some body aches that you never had before because you happen to move around even more so. Somebody could get hurt too. It's best to be prepared. Do you have what you need to survive a disaster? They come in many forms. They do. That's right. It's a good idea. That's right. Write down your contacts and physical journal and address all. That's right. Gatorade has so much sugar. It's super, super sweet. It's best to make your own electrolyte drinks. You can find the recipes. Just look through them on the internet. You can find some that would suit you. You can. And measure it and buy some cheap measuring spoons. If you don't got measuring spoons, if you think, well, you know what, I don't have any measuring spoons, go to the Dollar Tree, go to the Goodwill, go to the Walmart, get you some measuring spoons, just cheap. Get some plastic measuring spoons, plastic cups. You may have to make your own bread. Did you got flour? You can make some flatbread with flour, because you're going to have some kind of sustenance. You are. And your children are going to have something to eat. You got to be prepared for disasters. It's not a time to play, you all. It's not. Things are heating up. You can feel it heating up. You can. And with all these CMEs coming from the sun, and there's some that come and they don't even tell us. See, we only see what they have on their products, what they allow us to see. There could be a massive like CME coming, and they downgrade it to something smaller. They could do that. They could be. No. Somebody saw the umbrella organization on the side of a vehicle, and I'm not sure what the umbrella symbol means. I've heard of it before. It is real. It's very real, you all. Water for the toilet. Well, you know, if it gets bad, you're going to go into a bucket, you're going to go outside, and you're going to go to the bathroom. It's that simple. Go learn to do some basic survival things, you all. That's right, because you may not have the luxury of being able to flush a toilet. It might be a good idea for you to practice roughing it in your own home, even though you got a toilet. See if you could do it. See if you could do it, you all. Try to get creative on ways to survive, because your very life may depend on it one day. It really may. That's right. And I'm sure there's videos on how people do survive. When the power goes out and your car won't start, you better fill your bathtubs, you all. Hello there, B. Love you too. You all, it's serious. It is serious. It ain't getting no better out there. It's not. The world isn't. And things ain't getting cheaper. If you like these people who wait to the very last minute to get prepared. Now some, you know, they don't got the money, so they can't really afford much, because they can't even afford their own medicine, or even, you know, just put food on the table. That's understandable. But for those who do have the money to prepare, you really should prepare. Don't sit there and wait to the last minute, because There are lots of other people who are going to sit and wait to the last minute, and they're probably going to go get the things that you said you're going to get at the last minute, and you're going to go to the store and it's not going to be there. Then you'll have no one but yourself to blame. You all, in all actuality, you will have no one to blame but yourself. You can buy a little at a time. You can. Something is better than nothing. You know, if you had to leave your house right away and you wanted to throw some food in something and you don't even have a backpack, all you have is trash bags, and you know they're going to be hard to carry. You got a pillowcase. Take your pillowcase. This is what I told my nephews years and years ago. If something ever happened, you get your pillowcases and you put all those canned goods and stuff in your pillowcases, and you come to your Aunt Gina's house. As I told my nephews, that's how you're going to get the food here. That pillowcase will not bust like a trash bag. It won't. It's very durable. It's cotton or polyester or whatever it is. You can carry a whole lot in there. You can even put a string around it and tie it. You can be like Santa Claus. You can. You got to learn to survive. Hello, Polly, honey. You all you better start. We got to have our brains rewired. It takes a long time to rewire your brain, and it is possible to rewire your brain to start thinking of something different than what it's been normally used to thinking. That's right. Good evening, everyone. You lived in California for 20 years, always in a state of preparedness. Easy way to think is think camping, absolutely. Think camping. You might want to have a multi-tool. You might want to have a good knife, good sturdy knife. You might need a hatchet. You can get a cheap hatchet, I guess, an axe or something. You never know what's going to happen, but you want to have a lighter too. Some matches and or a flintstone to where you can start your own fire. What if what happens in this country? What happens, like, say, just put yourself in this position. Say that you're in one of those countries, the communist countries. Say that you are. Then all of a sudden, political instability occurs on a scale that you've never seen before. And you see some of your family members picked up and put into prison. Not just a day, maybe 6 years. And suppose the things in your house, well, you're not supposed to have the things in your house. You're told to get out of your house. And they come and check, and if you got something left in your house, if you got something in your house that's supposed to be there and it's not there, you get in trouble. Suppose, how would you like to live in a communist country? Would you like it? Would you love it? I don't think you would love it, because your way of life, your freedom that you once had, the freedom that you once took for granted, it will now be gone. And you will do what you're told. Chances are, the rumors of the FEMA camps, they're not rumors. Like re-education camps. Remember those movies? What movie was that? Was it Red Dawn or something like that? I can't really remember what it was. There's all kinds of scenarios, you all. You could have paratroopers. Paratroopers coming from the sky. You could. That's how they do when they invade a country, certain areas. They can take over a certain area, just like they did back in the old days. You know, you conquer a little bit of territory at a time, then you keep spreading and you keep getting more territory and more territory. It's just like gangs fighting over who controls what in which part of the city and things like that. Freedom begins within the mind. Absolutely it does. It sure does. If you're not free in the mind, you're not free at all. You're not. Your mind will hold you prisoner. It will. You all. I want to ask you a question. Do you think that you will ever see the day that the freedoms that you took for granted in this country that we have now will one day be taken away from us? Do you think that is possible in the world that we live in? If you look around, do you think it's possible? Hello, Applebrooks, honey. That they can strip you of your freedom? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Are there some people who say that will never happen in America? If that ever happens, you're in trouble. I'm in trouble. We're all in trouble. Hello. Hello there, Linda, honey. That's right. There's a delay in the live stream, you all. Yeah. No one can prepare for the great tribulation. Vonda, honey, for then there'll be a time of distress unequaled from the beginning of the world and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect. Rosie, honey, it's time to go eat. Come on, you got to come in and eat. You want to eat, Rosie, honey? Come on, get in there. You got to go have some food. Go on, you're a little baby. Got her. Got her. That's right, we got her. In that instance, with the Great Tribulation, you can prepare, but that Great Tribulation is still going to come, and you're going to be tested to your limit. Big time. It's like this. If anyone is to go into captivity, they will go. If anyone is to die by the sword they shall die. They shall. You'll know what you're going to do. You'll know. Fight or flight. That's what it will be. Fight or flight for a lot of people. I would not want to see like what's happening in China and what happened in China. When you go against their regime, you're silenced. You are. You don't speak against them. And how would you like it if your neighbors started spying on you and started turning you in to the authorities because you did something you shouldn't have did, you thought something you shouldn't have thought, you said something you shouldn't have said? There is a theory that there will be a totalitarian regime, but it may not be what some people think it may be. And it may come in the form of, they even said it at the World Economic Forum. They said if it gets out of the control, it will be the worst totalitarian regime the world has ever seen. The worst. Forget the dictators. No, it will be the worst, they said. Yeah. Thank you. I only had to stain this 3 times, but it was really fun. I would dedicate a whole entire day to like doing one part of the house, like this side right here. I think that would take around 4 hours, and you have to wait in between the stains before it dries, and same thing with this porch. But it was fun. It was really fun. Let me get this. Who is a president talking now? Miracles are definitely where we're at. Tara Payne, there are miracles happening. There is. There's a lot of miracles happening in people's life on an individual basis. And you can look around, and I'm sure you can find people who many miracles have happened in their lives. You can find them. You can. But we've got to be aware of what's happening around us, you all. We do. And no, prepare. We've got to prepare. We've got an increase in these CMEs, these coronal mass ejections from the sun that are pointed toward the earth. And you know what? Just think about this. Say that they have, like this July the 13th, there's going to be some solar flares that are headed straight toward the earth. And NASA and NOAA are in conflict with one another over whether they'll have an impact or whether they won't. But just suppose that as these coronal the CMEs come, or the solar flares, what if there was some type of a weaponized thing up there in orbit that add a little more punch to them, or in space that added a little bit more to the CME and did a lot of damage in the magnetic field. And we are supposed to be seeing, what are we supposed to be seeing, Gina? You're going to see the northern lights, they said, in around 30 states, more or less. That's not normal. It isn't normal, because that's a disruption up there. If you've seen that video from earlier, it's like the sky short circuits. It really is. It's like the sky short circuits. And then I was thinking, if the sky is short circuiting, like in the aurora borealis, these things that are happening, what if that's the veil? What would happen? Someone said in here that you would see the 3 days of darkness coming. I've been hearing that since 2018. 3 days of darkness. I've seen the timestamps come and go, and nothing ever happened. And, you know, you've been hearing people say, you need to prepare, you need to prepare. Well, you really do need to prepare, but I'm not going to give no timestamps, and some people will give you timestamps. Just be careful. Be very, very careful, you all. You got to be prepared on the inside right here, first and foremost. And this has got to have a connection with this. It does. You can't tell your heart can't tell your head, I don't need you. Your head can't tell your heart, I don't need you. Like your hands, your feet, your legs. No, we need all the parts of the body to function properly. Yeah. The postage stamps also are used. What are the postage stamps useful for, you all? Yes, we want to be stronger. Well, let me tell you something. When you are going to pray to be stronger, you're going to have events occur in your life that's going to push you, and you're going to have to get stronger. And it might be hurtful while you're getting stronger. It might be like a boot camp 101 from the spiritual realm. You're going to get it. You're going to get it, you all. It's like asking for patience. It keeps disconnecting me. It does. You're going to have a spiritual boot camp come into your life. If you want to be stronger, it's like asking for patience. You're going to get spiritual boot camp 101 coming into your life, and you're going to find out. You're going to be put to the test, and it's going to make you or break you. It's going to do one or the other. And if it breaks you, hopefully you'll be made back stronger, a lot better. Like the $6 million man. Yeah. We're supposed to pray as it already has so faithfully manifested in our lives. Yes, that's right. So you want to be prepared. Are you prepared? I'll tell you what, something keeps on disconnecting me. If I stay away from this position right here, because there is, let me show you. There is an energy. It's like right around in this area right here that's disconnecting me. There's an energy interference right in this area right here that disconnects me. And it's happened like this before too, but it's only when there's certain frequencies coming from my body. And the last time it did it, one time when I would stand right here, my screen would get the pink, the violet, whatever things all up on it like that, because it literally did it. Yeah. Your waking up is a blessing. That's right. Well, Patricia, honey, it's true. It's a spiritual boot camp 101. Be careful what you ask for, because you're going to get it, Gina, honey. Be careful what you ask for, because you're going to get it, Apple, honey. That's right, you all. We've all got to be careful. You want to get stronger, things are going to come in your life, and it's going to make you stronger. It is. And you're going to get tough skin, really tough skin. We are awake, Gina. The dark master don't like it. Oh, absolutely. Blackjack Gator. It does not like it, but it expects it. It's not happy because it's really trying hard to keep people from waking up. It is. Really, really hard. And it's not, it's too bad. It's too bad. We're going to wake up. We're waking up. More are going to awaken. You all, more will awaken as time goes by. People who you think were asleep and never going to wake up, they're going to wake up at the appointed time that they're supposed to. They're not going to wake up when you want them to wake up. They're not going to listen when you want them to listen. I've been told things before in my life, and I didn't want to hear it. But then, as I went down the road called life, I realized, okay, that was told of me. I should have listened. I'm going to listen now. You ever get that? We don't want to listen. We want to tune our ears out. But then as you get further down the road called life, something happens and then you start listening. You start listening just like that. So really, don't give up on people. I mean, you don't want to hammer something into somebody because that's like no, you don't want to force nothing on anyone. Let them come to their own understanding. You can tell them what's going on. You can try to open their eyes. Some people's eyes will not open no matter how hard you try. But some people, it will take a little time, but they'll open when they're meant to open. It's like somebody getting saved. Not everybody's going to get saved at the same time. They're not. There's a chosen time, you all. And maybe like a person, they want a really good paying job. They want to make lots and lots of money, but maybe they're too young to handle that type of responsibility. So they got to wait further and further down the road called life, and then they get a good paying job because now they're more mature and they realize, if I had this good paying job at my young age, I would not be responsible with it because I will not have matured. That's like your gifts and callings too. It really is. I think you got to grow into them, and for some people. It didn't like it. Too bad. You got to grow into it, you all. You do. For some people, not all people. We're all learning. We are all still learning how to navigate life. And it's like a giant maze now. I don't like mazes. Does anybody like mazes? They had like this, they had this pineapple farm in Hawaii. And they had like pineapple ice cream, and they had a gigantic maze. And you had to walk through the maze that they made. And I thought, I am not even going to go in that maze because it just didn't feel pleasant to me at all. Not at all. It's like life is becoming a maze. It's like everywhere you go, you know, you're going to run into a dead end. You got to keep going and going to see if you can find your way out of it. It's how it is at times. It really is. You been to the Doe Plantation? Yeah, that's the name of it. Your watch history was deleted. Who deleted it, Suspicious Skies? Yeah. Smart people sound like crazy people to dumb people. Let me see if I can sink that in. Smart people sound like crazy people. Yeah, that okay, I can vision it. I can. Yes. Okay. Just nothing there. That's right. Your grandson likes mazes. Wow. Like a matrix. I am going to go, you all. Are you prepared? If a disaster was to happen, and it could come in any type of disaster, from a natural disaster to a man-made disaster to an otherworldly thing, an alien invasion, but it wouldn't be whatever. It could go either way, good or bad, but it's going to have a real world effect regardless. Your electricity could go out and you could be put in the dark. Could you survive? Would you be able to have the tools you needed if you had to open up canned goods, if you had to eat cold food? Would you eat cold food out of a can? Would you eat canned vegetables even though you hate vegetables? I heard this woman at church said, I said, what would you do if you couldn't get the meat you wanted to get and you had to eat vegetables? She said, I'd rather die than eat vegetables. I said, you're joking. She said, no, I'd rather die than eat vegetables. I'm not eating vegetables. Okay. There are some people who will only eat meat and potatoes. So I'm sitting there thinking, how are the picky people going to survive when their food that they like to eat is no longer there? I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't. Or the people who want to drink soft drinks all the time and they hate water. How are you going to survive if you can't get your soft drinks? Really? How would you survive if you can't get your beer anymore, or your cigarettes? How would you survive? Because those things, you should be thinking about those things. If you don't want to run out of it, you better be stocking up a little bit on it. You should. It might make your life a little bit more bearable if a disaster were to strike. Don't go overboard, but if you want to go overboard, that's between you and God. It's not between me and you. I am going to go. I am. So, with that being said, Rosie, honey, you ain't getting out. You've been running around. You know what she did today? My husband let her outside, and I was downstairs, and I heard some like rattling. I thought, is that Rosie? He said, I don't know. And I looked out the front door. She wasn't there. I looked out the back door. There was Rosie sitting on the back rug outside the door, and I thought, she's got something in her mouth. So he opens up the door. She had a chipmunk in her mouth, and it was wiggling. She already bit off part of its tail, and she was running through the house, prancing through the house with this big chipmunk hanging out of her mouth. And she goes into the bedroom. My husband's hollering, "Get me some gloves. I need gloves." And I'm downstairs, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get some gloves. And I put the gloves on my own hand. And there he was at the top of the stairs, and the stair doors was closed, and there was Rosie. The chipmunk got out of her mouth and was in between the wedge of the door against the wall, and there was Rosie on the other side, thinking she's going to get that chipmunk. You know what I did? I picked up Rosie, and I told her she's going in that office, and I shut the door on her. I said, "You're not coming out." And then my husband's sitting there with these great big gloves on that we use to get the hot coals and stuff when you put the wood in your fireplace. He's sitting there. He goes, "How are you going to get it?" And his hands. You can't bend your hands with that. I said, "Get out of the way." He goes, "You're going to do it?" I said, "I'm going to do it. I can do it." So I opened the door a little bit, and that chipmunk had its nose stuck in that crack like there. And then he said, "Don't see." He's letting her out again. He's letting her out again, just like that. And the chipmunk had its mouth is trying to get through the crack. And he goes, "Well, don't close the door on it." I had to literally squeeze it with these gloves I had on. It had its claws, it had its fingers holding so tight to the little frame, and I grabbed it, and it was wiggling. And then I put it outside, and it just scurried off. Rosie didn't kill it, but she brung it in the house prancing like a big, like she had captured her a real prize. She wanted to play with it. And he said, "We can't be having that running around in the house." But she was so happy. She's out there looking for it again. She'll sit by the hose so she can catch it. That's why I don't think she needs to be out here without her leash, because she got too wild with that, you all. She could have killed it, but she didn't. It was big. It was like this big. It was probably like 7 inches, 6 or 7 inches, and it was fat. And she ripped part of its tail off. Like, oh my gosh, Rosie. She's wild. She's doing what she normally does. If you're a cat out in the wild, or a dog, or any other animal, you're going to do your predator mode. You're going to become the huntress, is what she was, the huntress. So I am going to go, you all. With that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. See, Rosie would survive. The animals would survive because they're out in the wild. They know how to survive. Humans, not so much. But that's okay. You're going to have to learn one day. You probably will. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I'm going to see you tonight at 8:30, if nothing happens.